It was just one of those days. You've probably had one. I was sitting in my office, my cubicle, my mall cubicle, a relic of the 1980s. Sitting there with my head in my hands, watching traffic pass by on I-275. The smell of burnt popcorn and stale coffee was in the air. The din of the computers and the cacophony of my coworkers surrounded me. And as I sat there with my head in my hands, I began to wonder if there has got to be more than this. Have you ever wondered if there's got to be more than this? I then asked myself a question that really changed my life forever. And it was quite simply, how do you stand out from the crowd? How do you stand out from the crowd? Hi folks, I'm Todd Brockdorf, as you know, and I'm just a regular guy. I've got a wife, 2 kids, a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house in suburbia. I'm fiscally conservative, liberally minded, and environmentally friendly. I like rock music, watching college football, and enjoy spending time with my family. Like I said, I'm just a regular guy. But here's the difference between you and I. Ever since that fateful day, I've been on a journey to really understand what organizations, what leaders, what corporations, what business professionals do a little bit different from everybody else to stand out from the crowd. Also, I'm a little weird, as you know. And one other thing that's a little bit different between you and I is that for 5,144 consecutive days, I served as a positional leader. Now, for those of you playing the home game, that's 14 years, 1 month, and 4 days, including leap years. But I say that not to impress you. I say that to implore you as to the possibilities of where your leadership journey may take you. Now, in April 2006, I was elected to serve as the second youngest district governor in Toastmasters International's 85-plus year history. For those of you who aren't familiar with Toastmasters, it is a worldwide leader in public speaking and leadership excellence. During my year as district governor, I served on a board of about 33 members. I led an organization of over 1,800 members across 100 chapters in Southeast Michigan, Northwest Ohio, and Southwest Ontario, Canada. Now that year we finished 28th in the world out of 75 districts and earned this award called the Distinguished District Status. Pretty impressive, huh? But here's the truth. I never set out to become a leader. Frankly, I don't really like people. But what I do like is opportunity. The opportunity to affect an outcome. The opportunity to see things through. The opportunity to leave this world a little bit better than when I started. Now, do you like opportunity? Yes? Sure. Cool. So today we're going to talk about leadership. I'm going to spend, 15 minutes talking about leadership. Is that cool? Can we talk about leadership? Great. Because leadership, when I look at leadership, I really see opportunity. And here's another truth. Most people are lazy. There. I said it. Most people are lazy. Most people would rather sit on the couch than get out and explore the world. Most people would rather read a book than write their own destiny. Most people would rather be told what to believe in than determine their own truths. Richness comes to those who punch their own ticket. So, frankly, I'm just a regular guy. We're all just regular Joes or Jane. And the question is, how do we stand out? How do we break out? How do we stand out from the crowd? How do we become a little bit better than average? And especially when it comes to leadership. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So, I'm not a rock star, but I grew up with a few. I'm not an astronaut, but I wanted to be. And I'm not a reality TV star, but I look like one. Nah, you want to. No, the truth is I'm just a regular guy. And I figured out a way in which to excel in a mediocre world. So today we're going to be talking, and you know what the best part is? The best part is that you can too. Right here at Sprint, wherever we end up in the next few weeks, few months, or wherever, or even years down the line. So today we're going to be talking about better than average leadership, and quite simply how to excel in a mediocre world. Now, what is better than average? Better than average is a sweet spot between average and extraordinary. Now, extraordinary is like a talent, a gift, like Luciano Pavarotti in singing. It's something that can't really be taught. It's innate, ingrained in you. And while average is average for a reason. So the three questions that I have for you today are, what leadership style is most effective? 1. 2, what do leaders really think about? And 3, what leadership actions can we take, even though we might not have a positional leadership position? So question for you, what is leadership? And this is the interactive portion, so what is leadership? When we talk about leadership, what is it?
Guiding a group of people.
Guiding a group of people. What else?
Making decisions.
Making decisions. What else?
Being accountable.
Being accountable. Great. Those are 3 great examples. What I think about leadership, I really think it's about taking responsibility. It's about taking responsibility for our actions, our inactions, and most important, our faults. You learn the lessons of leadership not through the positions that you hold, not through the titles that you have, or the number of letters that are after your name. What you really learn, where you really learn leadership skills, is simply through life. We all have the potential to be a leader. Under this, position is irrelevant to potential. Position is irrelevant to potential. And when it comes down to it, leadership is really about influence. It's about influence, right? Is it not? So let's talk about leadership style real quick. Now, there are a number of leadership styles and common leadership styles in practice. You may have seen some of these, like seagull leadership, where the leader swoops in, poops all over the place, and then leaves. Never seen that before, huh? Or, better yet, the Harvey Dent style of leadership. Now, who is Harvey Dent also known as? Two-Face. So that's where the leader walks in, tells you one thing to your face, and then turns around and does something completely opposite. We've never seen that before.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Or my personal favorite, mushroom leadership. And this is where the leader sticks his or her people in the poop, in the dark, and expects them to thrive. Now, we've never seen that. But really, when we have a serious conversation about leadership and the style that is in vogue these days, you're really talking about transformational leadership. Now, what the heck is transformational leadership? Glad you asked. First, it's really a combination of 2 things, servant leadership and visionary leadership. So servant leadership, if you really want to look at servant leadership, it was first launched in 1970 by a man called Robert K. Greenleaf. And it was in his essay entitled The Servant as Leader. This is where he defined the terms servant leader and servant leadership. And servant leadership, quite simply, is the philosophy by which leaders achieve great results for their organizations by giving priority attention to those whom they serve. So they focus on whom they serve. Visionary leadership. If you look at visionary leadership, that's the other half of transformational leadership. Visionary leaders challenge what is and look to a future of what could be. They have a healthy disregard for the impossible. And they are willing to take calculated risks to achieve a meaningful, transformed state. They bring people together through a shared purpose and clearly communicated vision. Leaders earn the trust and respect and confidence of their followers by demonstrating high ethical standards. And finally, they work towards the achievement and execution of a shared common vision. So that's really what transformational leadership is, and that's the transformational leadership style. So let's look briefly at leadership thought. What do leaders do a little bit different from everybody else? How do they think a little bit different? What do better than average leaders do a little bit different from everybody else? Under this, to be a better leader, be a better thinker. But you're saying, Todd, I don't have time to think. I'm so busy. I got phone calls and emails and everything, and life is just too busy. Well, I say multitask. Multitask. but seriously, if you want to be a better leader, if you want to be a better than average leader, seriously sit down, take some time to think. Anybody ever hear of the term morning pages at all? Morning pages. What those are is where you literally you get up in the morning and you sit down and you just dump whatever is in your brain out onto paper. Some do it on a computer, some do it on a notebook. It just gets your thoughts out and into the world. And you'll be amazed that after a page or so of writing, your thoughts will become clearer. You'll really have an idea of things that you never thought possible because they're buried deep down inside your mind. Another way that better than average leaders excel is that they read books. Now, why do I say read books? Well, books go into more depth than magazine articles. If you really want to learn a subject, read the book on it, not just a few excerpts of a magazine article. Ponder this. To be a better thinker, be a better writer. But you're saying, I don't want to write. Well, you don't have to write. You don't have to, write books yourself. Here's a question for you. Is everything you know written down somewhere? Is everything you know written down somewhere?
It's in my old hard drive.
It's in your old hard drive. Is it on Evernote? Is it in a notebook? Whatever method you choose, write it down, because unrecorded is unremembered. You've probably said to yourself, that's a great idea. I'll write it down after lunch. After lunch, you sit down, it's like, what was that? Yeah. So unrecorded is unremembered. So now let's look at some leadership action. What can we do? What can we do as leaders? What can we do a little bit different from everybody else? The first thing is, I get this question. If you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or would you let it slip? Who said that?
Eminem.
Eminem. Right. Those guys, right? Oh, no, not those guys. That guy. That guy. So really what Eminem was trying to say, I believe, is carpe opportunitas. And what does carpe opportunitas mean?
Seize the opportunity.
Seize the opportunity. Great. So it was about 2006. It was December 31st, 2006. My fiancée and I was preparing a nice midnight dinner for her. But I had to throw out the mire for a few more ingredients. I forgot a few things. So I got my ingredients, went to the checkout line, scanned the checkout lines, and I saw the U-scan. I figured if anybody's working Christmas Eve, then I don't need to go to the U-scan. I might as well go see somebody, if they're taking the time, effort, and energy to be there. I then saw this other woman who, the man that she was helping with, had literally a pile of groceries that was going to last him through the next ice age or something. I'm like, no, I'm not going to wait in that line. And so then I went to Martha's line. I went to Martha, and I said, why did I choose Martha? Because she had on a Happy New Year hat. I'm like, hey, Martha, what's with the hat? And she goes, I'd rather be at home with my friends, out partying, but I have to work tonight. That's a bummer, but I'd like to make the best of the situation. So she checked me out, and I said, well, that's a really good idea. That was really cool. That, she was making the best of her situation. So she checked me out, and then as I was turning, I turned back and said, hey, Martha, you know what? I got an idea for you. At midnight, are you going to drop confetti on your line to celebrate the new year? She goes, no, but that's a great idea. So Martha, what did she do?
Took advantage of the moment.
She seized the opportunity, carpe opportunity. She made the best of the situation. So in your job, what can you do to carpe opportunities? Really, that's a question for you. No matter where you are in life, no matter what you're doing, as we go forward, what can you do to carpe opportunitas? So today we talked about style, thought, and action. Leadership style, leadership thought, leadership action. I know it was quick. I only have 15 minutes. But you know what? As I leave you, I want you to remember this thought. Leave with this message. Be better than average. Wherever we may end up in these next few weeks, few months, few years. It's telecom in southeast Michigan or all over Michigan. Chances are our paths will cross sometime, It's just that type of industry. And, just think, whenever you're having one of those days, I challenge you to be a better than average leader so that you will leave the world a better place than when it started. I believe that you have in your power the ability to change your world now. Don't let anyone ever put out your flame. Thank you.
We've got tears in my eyes.
There wasn't anything about